Today, we're going to break down a traffic incident that went from totally normal to almost catastrophic in like a single second. It's a really powerful reminder of just how thin that line is between a regular drive and a life or death situation.
Okay, so picture the scene. It's one we all know, right? A dense line of cars just crawling along. It's that kind of frustrating stop-and-go traffic that can really test your patience.
But somewhere in this sea of cars, one driver is about to make a decision that's going to set off a super dangerous chain reaction. So what happens when just one moment of impatience puts a whole bunch of lives on the line?
All right, first up, let's really set the stage for how this completely ordinary traffic jam turned into a near-total disaster.
You've got all the ingredients for trouble right here. The traffic is dense, it's slow, so there's very little room for error. And the big one? Limited visibility. Any attempt to overtake another car isn't just risky, it's basically a blind gamble.
And that brings us to the moment everything changes, what I'm calling the 50-kilometer-per-hour gamble. This is where a simple act of impatience just spirals out of control.
50 kilometers per hour. Now, that's about 31 miles per hour. It might not sound all that fast, but when you're flooring it into oncoming traffic that you can't even fully see, well, that speed is enough to turn a bad decision into a potentially deadly one.
So here's the play-by-play of this reckless move. First, the driver just guns it, accelerating hard. Then they pull out into the lane for oncoming traffic to try and pass. With every single one of these steps, the danger level just shoots through the roof.
I mean, this is the textbook definition of a high-risk maneuver. Just think about it for a second. The potential gain, you save what, a few seconds in traffic? The potential loss? A fatal head-on collision. The risk-reward here is just completely dangerously out of whack.
And now we hit the point of no return. This is that split second where the driver's gamble goes horribly, horribly wrong.
This just perfectly captures the impossible choice the driver is facing. To their left, a head-on collision is about to happen. It's a certainty. To their right, the safe space they just left, well, it's gone. In this split second, every single option is a bad one.
So, trapped with no good options, the driver does what anyone might do. They make a desperate, instinctive move. They yank the wheel, trying to force the auto rickshaw back into the lane, but the swerve is just way too sharp, way too sudden.
At 50 kilometers per hour, you just can't argue with the laws of physics. Auto rickshaws, they have a high center of gravity. That makes them really prone to rolling over during a sudden, fast turn. In that instant, the vehicle becomes completely unstable. All control is gone.
And here it is, the devastating result. The auto rickshaw flips, scraping across the pavement with people trapped inside. The driver's reckless gamble has just ended in a violent, terrifying crash.
But believe it or not, the story doesn't actually end with the crash. In what is a pretty remarkable turn of events, a much, much bigger catastrophe was avoided. Let's see how.
So in the few chaotic seconds right after the crash, the danger just multiplies. You've got the overturned auto suddenly blocking the road, which threatens a massive pileup from both directions. The entire road has basically become a death trap.
This timeline shows what is just a collective moment of brilliant driving. Look at this. In the half second after the auto flips, the oncoming car is already slamming on its brakes. Just a fraction of a second later, the cars behind do the same. In less than 2 seconds, the quick thinking of these other drivers prevents a huge pileup. It's amazing.
So what's the big takeaway from this near tragedy? Well, at the end of the day, it all comes down to the price of impatience.
It really is as simple as this. The chaos, the crash, the danger, none of it was a random accident. It was all the direct result of one driver's impatience, a single reckless choice that put everyone else on that road in danger.
The source material for this explainer just puts it perfectly. This wasn't just a crash. It was a terrifying dance with disaster. It was one of those moments where survival really depended on a dozen different things all going right in the blink of an eye.
And this leaves us with a pretty important question to think about. I mean, how many times have we all been on the road and seen a driver take that exact same gamble, risking everything just to save a few seconds? After seeing how fast it can all go wrong, you really have to ask yourself, is that gamble ever worth the price?